Hey, everybody, welcome to the Untitled Hoops podcast, which is now the new name of the podcast. Marquise looks confused like he can't hear me.
No, you said it sounded weird, so I didn't know that it was going to be the thing.
What? Oh, is it not?
Sure, yes,
I didn't say it sounded weird. I said they sounded equally.
but like we only talk
They
about
both.
basketball. It's not sports.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It definitely makes sense.
Okay,
I don't dislike the name.
you just
I don't
you
dislike
caught
it.
me by surprise because I didn't know that it was effective immediately.
Well, now you and everybody watching knows that this is the Untitled Hoops podcast, not the Untitled Sports podcast, because fuck other sports.
Yes,
Other sports are trash and they can all die. This is the
together.
Untitled Hoops podcast where we talk about basketball, mainly the NBA, mainly the 76ers. Which unfortunately, to start things off, Marquise, I'm sure you got some things you want to talk about, but to start things off, a certain NBA prospect who was recently drafted, who Marquise really thought was an attractive prospect for specifically the 76ers to draft. He was not drafted by the 76ers, which now is looking like maybe not such a bad thing. EJ Liddell has officially torn his ACL in summer league, no less, which is, I mean, that's just terrible. That's that's all kinds of unlucky. I
Yes,
mean, wow. But
it
yeah, tore his ACL.
like I told Sean, he would have been a perfect Sixer. He got injured. He knew what to do. He got injured in his first year. His second year, he's going to be a fucking all star.
That's
That's how it
that
works.
would have been a very 76ers storyline.
The injury curse
Yeah,
is back. It's
right,
back. People didn't talk
right.
about it when it was gone, but now that it's back, it's Sixers always getting injured. It's always like that.
Yeah, which now is just why I'm saying that in hindsight is probably a good thing we didn't draft him, because even if he does end up being a good player, he's not going to play for like a year. So
Yeah.
you know,
I mean,
and he
it's
was a
July.
second round pick, right?
He was second round, yeah, to New Orleans.
Yeah.
New Orleans.
So by the time he does play, he'll be in like a contract year. so
Yeah.
so you'll have to like it'll be like what's his name? Gilbert Arenas, who depending on who you ask, I mean if you ask Gilbert, he'll probably say he did it on purpose, but he sort of tanked a lot of his draft interviews and things like that because he didn't want to be drafted in the first round, and he ended up being drafted in the second round, even though he knew he was one of the better players in the draft.
Everybody knew he was one of the best players in the draft.
Yeah, and because he went in the second round, he had a much shorter contract, and he was eligible for a new contract.
Way sooner.
What, like 2 years, 2 or 3 years before everybody else in his draft.
Yeah.
So he was
Smart man.
there was that I believe it was Richard Jefferson, who was a college teammate of Gilbert Arenas, who also got drafted that year,
First
who
round.
who was in the first round and was on a longer 4 year like standard rookie deal. And when Gilbert got his new contract, he said Gilbert came up to him before the game and was like, "Hey Richard, yeah, how's that rookie deal treating you? I'm making 12 million this year." It's like,
That sounds like the most Gilbert thing ever,
yeah, pretty much,
other than
pretty much.
bringing a gun to your locker room.
Well, yeah, there was also that.
There was also that.
There was also that, but boy, could he play some basketball.
Yes, he could, man. He could play some basketball. He could shoot. Like emphasize on the shoot. Like he
Yeah,
had great
yeah,
range and
yep,
accuracy.
yep. And
Um,
he was technically a point guard. A lot of people, mainly Gilbert, also credit him with sort of being that first, player that we saw as like a scoring point guard. Um,
Steph before
some people
Steph.
might, yeah, some people might argue Allen Iverson. Other people might argue Allen Iverson was really just a shooting guard who played with point guards like Aaron McKee or no, not Aaron McKee, Eric Snow. Um, but Gilbert was really kind of the first like official point guard who was also like the leading scorer on the team.
Yeah.
Um,
Every
so
other
yeah, so
point
shout
guard
out to
before
Gilbert
that
Arenas.
were literally point guards. Like they were
Yeah,
like the
like they
traditional
were
pass
passers.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So shout out to Gilbert Arenas, man. Made the Washington Wizards relevant. I guess along with Michael Jordan.
For the only time they were relevant.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
they went to the second round and played Indiana with those fun teams.
Yeah, you're talking about the year they got Paul Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Paul Pierce.
That was unexpected because Paul Pierce was just with Brooklyn and they were
He wasn't shit.
yeah. So it's like, it was a little bit unexpected that when he goes to Washington, I don't know, maybe it's because of the youth. Like when they were on Brooklyn, it was a lot of older players. It was similar to what we just saw with LA.
Yes.
It was a lot of older stars. There wasn't a whole lot of youth.
And this is the craziest part
So they
about
were
that.
just a really bad team.
The craziest part about that is that Paul Pierce was in the closing lineup.
Mm-hmm.
He came off the bench but was in the closing lineup. And hit
Mm-hmm.
some big ass shots.
Yeah. Yeah.
I ain't call bank. I call game.
Yeah,
Love
Paul
that.
Pierce has had a interesting career. He's one of those players that looking back was probably not as Paul Pierce, if that makes sense.
Say it
Because
again.
he does
You cut out a little bit.
I said it's hard to rank Paul Pierce.
You know what? How I would do it? I would say Paul Pierce is like a Bradley Beal, but with a better team.
Right. For a year.
Cause like Paul Pierce was never a superstar, in my
Right.
opinion. He was never a superstar, but he was always good enough.
Yeah.
And
Makes sense.
that's how I view him.
Yeah, I mean it's weird. Like I said, if Paul never if Paul never got Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett, I agree he probably ends up with a Bradley Beal-esque career. But I would also kind of say Paul was in his prime, probably better player.
That's arguable. Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
Bradley's obviously
a
a better
lot of a lot
scorer,
of a lot
but
of things like end up on the spectrum of are you winning?
yeah,
Because everybody's a good player on a bad team.
you're right.
Like Ish Smith was fucking playing like an all star for us, but then got to another team was coming off the bench.
Yeah,
It all depending on the team that you got to.
yeah, that's true. I mean, you're right. You can say the same thing about somebody like Jahlil Okafor, who has certainly not had that much success outside of a 76ers uniform and didn't have much success in a 76ers uniform either. But at least he was averaging 18 points a game.
On a
And
10-win team.
but he was like very clearly the leader of the team.
Yes.
Like he was the best player on the team.
He probably was
But
the
I
oldest player too.
probably
We were just like, listen, bro, you want to play basketball? Come on, let's do it. That's literally what happened.
yeah, we were getting dudes from like G League tryouts. Like
And
it's like I'm trying out for the 87ers. It's like, no, you're going to the Sixers. Like
you're coming here.
yeah,
Like,
like no, you're coming up.
you know what's crazy? Somebody who had a similar story to just that, like you were joking, but somebody had a similar story to that. We actually played for the Sixers, and then he fell off. Jonathan
Okay.
Simmons.
Yeah.
He
Yep.
literally just tried out $250 tryout with the
Yeah.
Spurs G League team.
Yep.
Made a roster, got paid because he went off in the playoffs when
Yep.
Kawhi got injured. Got paid and then just faded the fuck out.
And he was honestly he was a pretty good player for us too.
It was solid.
Like he was a
We
he
got him
was
in
a
that Marco
good
Fultz trade.
yeah. Yep. And he was a
and
pretty
Tyrese
good player.
Maxey.
And I was honestly a little upset when we didn't re-sign him, just because I felt like he could have been a really good bench piece. He was a
Played solid
pretty
defense.
decent shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah, played solid defense. Like he was definitely the kind of guy that you want on the bench,
Mhm.
on an NBA on a
He's basically
contender.
a Daniel House, literally,
Right.
with better shot creating ability.
Right. Um yeah, I definitely there was a lot of times like with that, like during that whole time period from like 20 I want to say like 2016 to 2020 maybe or 2021 where it was just like we had guys and it was just like we're not going to keep them
Right.
or guys just left and it was kind of weird cuz it was like damn, did we even offer them a contract?
Yeah, cause I remember the first like trade that we did to trade one of our not bigger stars, but like one of our younger players that we just recently drafted. It was that Ursan trade
Mhm.
when we traded Jeremy Grant for Ursan,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's like damn, like Ursan fit the team, but it's like damn, Jeremy Grant turned into a player that we could really use right now. Like you know what I'm saying? Like Rashawn
Right.
Holmes, we traded Rashawn Holmes for second round picks. He's a player that we
Right.
could literally use right now. You know, but obviously, it's in hindsight. Actually, no. Jeremy Grant was kind of teetering, where it was like he could be an NBA player, but he also couldn't. Rashawn Holmes was
Yeah.
an energy guy off the jump.
Yeah.
Where
Because with Jeremy, the problem with Jeremy was that his game just didn't fit well alongside Ben.
mm-hmm. Well,
So it
it
was
wasn't
like,
even that. It was the year prior
no, it
because
was the Ben year.
Ursan was on the Sixers twice.
He was.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
he was
he
on
was on
the
the Sixers.
he was on the
He was on
Sixers.
the Sixers
Joel's
twice.
first year, and then
Joel's first playing year.
first playing year because I remember they didn't have the Nike jerseys yet. And then he was on there. Remember when
Okay.
he got released? He got a buyout from the Hawks. Him and Marco came over. That Joel's literally the next year.
Okay. I think okay. I think I remember. I think I remember what you're saying, what you're talking about, but I'm trying to remember which year it was. Cause you know what? No, you're right. You're right. Cause the first one was the trade. The second one was a waiver claim.
Yeah,
Yeah. We picked up Ursan and Marco.
yeah.
Um.
Both came from the Hawks.
Yep. Off of waivers that year. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Wow, it was crazy. That's another thing we don't really do anymore. We don't pick up guys off of waivers anymore.
I mean, we don't normally have the space.
Yeah, but it's like, why? I don't know. It's like with the amount of players that we have, like making the money that they're making. I can't talk. I would assume you could just like not fill up the whole roster. Like, you know what I mean? Like just go into because what is it? What's the minimum that you have to have in order to have a full roster?
Uh, 14, I think,
Or
or
is it
13.
13?
It's like 13 or 14. It's one of the two.
I would much rather go into the season with 13 players and just keep your options open so that way when the time comes, if you want to, if you have to, you can sign some guys.
Okay, if we go, I mean, we're already on the topic of the Sixers, but when we talk about the current Sixers, we have 16 players on our roster.
Mm-hmm.
We can only have 15 by the start of the season. There are rumors that the Sixers might be doing a trade soon to clear up some roster spaces,
Okay.
and might be including the Shakes and the Furcons,
Good.
because they literally have no place no more. With the
Right.
rosters moves that we did, they have no place. Like the Anthony Melton takes Shake spot, and anybody in the world will take Furcon spot. So it is like
Anybody in the world?
I think what Isaiah Joe has sold in summer league is okay.
Yeah.
Furcon, you can go because
Yeah.
we could trade him for somebody, and then also have space to give Isaiah Joe more minutes, even if it's not consistent, but give him more minutes to show more stuff without having them being behind those two guards.
I think what a lot of people were sort of holding on to with Furcon was the size, like him being 6'7", but at the same time, it's like he doesn't really use it. So
Yeah.
he's even at 6'7", he's still sort of a defensive liability. So you're better off just having somebody who can step in and just consistently hit shots.
And then on top of that, like what I said, I think I mentioned it last podcast. When you're a specialist, your special ability is keeping you in the NBA. Like
Yeah,
literally, when you don't have that, you're not an NBA player.
right,
Furkan's
right.
shot was not falling. He is not an NBA player.
It's very streaky.
Like it's streaky. Like J.R. Smith was once labeled streaky.
But see, he's super
Furkan
athletic.
Furkan is like 7 tiers below that. Like
Right.
he's like I don't know. I don't know if we have a word for that. He's like once a month. But
I
if
was gonna
once a
say that
month was every 6 months.
once a season,
Once a
once
season,
a
yeah.
season, Furkan Korkmaz saves us.
I mean, he did a lot. Like the season before the last one, he did like a lot of shit. Like he was our best
Mhm.
shooter. He shot 40%. He was doing a good job. But I this is something like okay. Once again, I always like to play devil advocate, looking for the other from the other perspective. Furkan was asked to play backup point guard,
Right.
so meaning he had to make plays instead of just being in the corner.
Yeah.
Like literally, majority of the year.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, how much does that play in? The fact that he's not as focused on his shot because he has to do more than what he should be doing.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely tough. I think the problem is he's like I said, he's 6'7". So he really should be probably a small forward, but he can't guard small forwards.
Can't be no shooting guard neither. God damn, no, you cannot.
Right. Right. So it's
Especially in the
like
East, no.
yeah. So it's like yeah, offensively, he's definitely a wing, but at the same time, he's not really like a ball handling wing. He's not particularly quick, like driving to the basket. He doesn't really even shoot a lot of mid range shots. You could say that maybe it's because they just don't want him to, but
Yeah,
I haven't actually seen him hit many mid range shots ever. He rather pump fake, sidestep, and put up a three from just like 2 feet to the side, then pump fake, drive in, and put up a uncontested like mid range shot.
and the craziest thing about Furkan, it just hit me that you said he's not athletic. Furkan is sneaky athletic, and
He's got hops, but he doesn't
and
have the quickness.
yeah, he doesn't. Yes, because like I was thinking about it, like because when Furkan before Furkan came over, it took Furkan like 2 years to come over, or it was like
Hmm.
1 year, one and a half year. Because no, he came over before Dario came over.
Yeah,
So Furkan won a dunk contest overseas.
yeah, yeah. But
So it's
yeah,
like it's just like he doesn't have it in the right spot. He don't know how to use it altogether.
right. That's what I mean. Like even with the size, because that's the thing. Like even with him with his vertical, like you could even attribute a little bit of that to him just being 6'7".
Mm-hmm.
If he was the same height as Westbrook, he's not winning any dunk contests. Like
He's
he's
not that.
not
Yeah.
athletic in the same way as somebody like a Russell Westbrook or even Matisse. Like Matisse is a perfect example of somebody who, like Furkan, lacks lateral quickness, but he makes up for it in vertical, like leaping ability, length, and also just like
Hand
having really quick hands and
hand-eye
really quick,
coordination is crazy.
right, really great hand-eye coordination. He can get off his feet super quick. Like he just jumps out of nowhere. He'll be mid stride, and next thing you know, he's like 3 feet in the air. So he can make up for his lack of lateral quickness, getting beat off the dribble and all that by just getting into the air before the other player and blocking a shot from behind or from the side or whatever, where people they think, I already beat him. I'm
Yeah.
focused on the help defender. Whereas Furkan is like he lacks lateral quickness, but he's also just like not quick in general. Even though he does get up, it takes him a minute. So it's like it looks really cumbersome and like
Because also
sluggish.
he doesn't do it a lot. So when he
Right.
does it, you go, oh fuck, Furkan, okay,
Right.
okay.
Right.
Like I didn't expect that from you, but Yeah,
But again, he's 6'7".
yeah,
So it's like when you're almost the same height as LeBron, you should be able to get up like and throw a couple like dunks down.
yeah. Um,
So
coming in,
it's hard to really evaluate how athletic he is because he's also so big.
yeah, coming into the season, we said for sure one person was going to get traded. You said for sure one person was going to get traded, and that person did get traded, and it was Danny Green. I
Hmm.
threw in that there was two people that was for sure has to get traded, and I said Furkan has to go
Yeah.
because he's making $5 million. You're already under the cap now. You're under the cap because Harden took less. We're gonna hop into the Harden deal. You're already under
Hmm.
cap because Harden take less. If you trade Furkan for draft picks to like the Pistons, they give you like 2 second round picks for him. Now you're 10 million under.
Yeah.
That's a body right there.
Yeah.
Whether you wanna,
That's why I said I'd much rather be under
yeah,
the number of players allowed on a roster. I think it's like 15 max.
get 15 is max.
I would much rather come into the season with
Plus,
like 13.
I think 15 plus two ways.
Yeah, I don't want any two ways. I would much rather come into the season with 13 players
I
and
mean, the
an
two
extra $10 million of cap space.
the two ways don't count on your as roster spots.
Yeah, I
Unless,
know, but I mean,
yeah,
it's just like I don't. Why would you have more players that aren't gonna play?
no, just don't
Like
keep tabs on them.
I would much rather just have players and send them to the G League than have them on two ways.
Okay. So Julian Champagny had one of the roster spots going into summer league, one of the two-way
Hmm.
spots, and they just gave Michael Foster the second one, our second and final one. I didn't understand that. Like Michael
Okay.
Foster didn't show me shit so far. Julian Champagny has been fucking awful. And I was
Yeah.
high on him, like literally high on him. I was like, this is the guy that you have to go get a long athletic wing. He's like 6'9",
Yeah.
lanky as hell, could shoot theoretically. And I'm watching him play, and I'm like, no, bro. Can you take it back? Like, can you take it back? Like somebody like a point guard like Cassius Winston who showed more. Um,
Yeah.
Grant Rillard showed more. Charlie Queen is already on the team. Um,
Yeah. He's like not even trying really.
right, like he doesn't give a fuck. He's already on the team. And his
Same
contract
thing
is
with Paul and Charles. Like they were pretty much kind of taking
like
it easy.
I'm trying to think of like somebody else who looked better than Julian Champagny. Obviously, this is the summer league, and this might be like me overthinking it, and then he gets a call up and he's fucking good. Because I did say Julian Champagny could make the roster, get called up, and be a rotation spot. I did say that, and I have kind of. It's crazy how I said that, and he's played like butt, and I'm like, damn. I guess I gotta stick, and now I gotta stick by it. You know, it's my shit. I gotta stick by my shit.
Right. I'm gonna
But
stick beside him.
cause like he like, cause like his body build is the one you want. Like that 6'9" wing, who has a
Hmm.
little handle to his game. Like not
Yeah.
a lot, just has a little of everything. That is
Yeah.
like who you would want, especially on the two-way contract where you could let them develop.
That's where the NBA is going toward.
Yes.
Tweeners, which is crazy because that used to be a bad thing.
Because you didn't have a position,
Like,
we didn't know what the fuck to do with you.
yeah, that used to be a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's so crazy how quick that changes. I remember they were talking about it on the JJ Redick podcast. He was like, "Yo, the days of the stretch four are over."
Yeah.
Like, and it seems like it only lasted maybe 10 years.
Because you gotta know how to handle the ball. You gotta know how to put the
Yeah.
ball on the floor. You gotta know how to attack.
Like,
You gotta, it's just so much shit you gotta know how to do now.
the last stretch four was probably Porzingis. Like the
Davis
last
Bertans.
legit Davis Bertans. Okay.
I mean, if you want to talk about all-star caliber, well, then Porzingis or Kevin Love.
We could throw Davis Bertans in there, but still like
Like literally, all they do is shoot.
well, yeah, right.
Davis Bertans.
Like that's like that's like they're 3-and-D players basically. Like 3-and-D power forwards.
Oh,
Like
no,
they're
Davis
pretty much
Bertans.
gone.
Not dope.
Right. That's why I said not really. I don't know about Davis Bertans. Or like they're so good that they don't have to play as much defense, like a Dirk Nowitzki or a Kevin Love.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, it's like it's crazy how quickly the trends change in the NBA, and you could even say like the stretch four might have gotten killed by like Golden State, who
I think
also
the center position got killed by a Golden State.
maybe, maybe because it's hard to say because when Golden State first really started to pick up, they had Andrew Bogut, they had a center, they had a true center.
But not they never had elite center.
No, they never had an elite
Like
center.
they had
But
good,
see,
like
but
Kevon Looney is a good center.
yeah,
Like he's a
but
good center. He could go anywhere. I think majority teams like Charlotte was looking into getting Kevin Looney because he
yeah,
does what you need to do. He's not a max player. He does exactly what you
yeah.
need him to do. He doesn't do more, doesn't do less. He does exactly what you need him to do. Hustle,
Here,
energy, all that. That's what he does.
here's the only reason why I would disagree about Golden State killing the center position is that at that point in time, very few teams had elite centers. Actually, you might even be able to say there were only like two teams that had elite centers, and that was
During the
Sacramento.
Warriors' first run.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was Sacramento with DeMarcus Cousins, and you maybe could throw at that point in time Hassan Whiteside in there because he was blocking literally everything. DeAndre Jordan, maybe again,
I would
mostly
go
credit to Chris Paul.
Marc Gasol.
Marc Gasol,
Paul was
yes,
kind of on the decline, but Paul was still there. He was still an
yeah,
All Star
he was still an All Star.
with
He
Chicago.
was with Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but again, on the decline, he wasn't the best player on that team.
No. Yeah,
So,
he had solid stats for somebody who was like 38.
oh yeah,
He averaged like a
but
double
like
double. Like he was.
I would say the center position really probably maybe died on its own.
It died, and then here comes.
I would say even I wouldn't even give credit to Golden State because I think they tried the center thing, but I think after a while they kind of just realized like, you know what, we're better off just like having as many shooters on the floor as we possibly can.
It literally took two generational talents
Yeah.
to bring
For
back the center position.
yep.
Like players, type of centers that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
To bring back and put spotlight on there. Because, like, you got to think about after them, you could probably go Cat. Cat is a different. He stands out because he's a stretch. And now he's a fucking forward. So it's probably can't say that.
Right.
Rudy is a traditional center.
But even then,
Ayton
even then, Rudy's a traditional center, but his role is mainly just a shot blocker. He's not very involved in the offense at all.
At all.
Even as like a lob catcher, anything like that. Like he's not even really that. Clint Capella was probably more impactful on the offensive end in his days in Houston than Rudy has ever been for the Utah.
Yes. It's like, is it so crazy that, once again, I'm not going to try to kill nobody for taking the money, because if money's a presented in front of you, the type of money that Rudy Gobert got, you take that shit, you don't even think about it. But somebody with absolutely no offensive game, like none, like not a post hook, not anything, to get damn near $38 million a year is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And for them,
you could argue that perhaps Utah did that knowing they were gonna trade him,
but they just wanted to keep him.
I don't know. Yeah, probably, as opposed to letting him walk.
This is my thing with because Utah obviously got over that. And a gigantic ass
like
way.
it worked out.
It worked out a gigantic ass way. Shout out Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge don't know what the fuck he doing, because like he literally was like, all right, and he's gone, and we have 37 picks. Like it's literally how he works.
And a new head coach. Right. And you know what? Get Donovan out of here.
Right, and then there's rumors about Donovan leaving now.
Right, and I mean it makes sense. It makes sense. Obviously, Donovan is not. I don't think Donovan is Damian Lillard. Like Damian Lillard's gone through like 3 rebuilds already.
Yes.
I don't think Donovan wants that. I don't think he's that young. Committed. Yeah, I don't think he's that committed to Utah.
Cause like
long term.
If I'm Damian Lillard's been in the league for what, 13 years now? Is it 13? He got drafted in 2012. So 11?
10.
Well, next year.
This will be his
I thought
11th
next.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 11 years now, loyalty was a thing. Played against Kobe, played against Tim Duncan, played like with loyalty's heavily a thing. Dirk, KG, even though he left, but like he came back.
Well, KG got traded, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, but when loyalty is a big ass thing, now you got these players where Donovan Mitchell looks across like the West and goes, "Look at Luca,
Hmm.
look at Devin, look at all these people who are in the same age bracket as me or fucking younger. Look at John Morant. I should be on that. I should be doing that.
Yeah.
I should be at those places where those people are." And
Right.
and it's just like the circumstances of what the league is right now. Like it's
Right.
win. Like everybody wants to win.
Especially knowing that Donovan came into the league a little bit older,
Mm-hmm.
so he's probably feeling like time isn't on his side in the same way that it probably was for somebody like a Devin Booker
Mm-hmm.
or like it's or even Jason Tatum. Like Jason Tatum obviously got drafted into a great situation, but he had enough time that even if Boston was terrible when he first got drafted, by this point they might have been good.
Yeah.
Like with Phoenix, like with as long as Devin Booker's been in the league and as long as, Phoenix was terrible, people forget like Devin Booker's not that old still. Like he's still only like 20, what, 27?
27, I think so.
Yeah. So it's like people I kind of just associate players in certain franchises like being bad, but it's just like, yo, this dude is still young. Like there's still plenty of time. All they need is the right player. Whereas with
What
Donovan
the
Mitchell is like
fuck?
he's
He's
Donovan Mitchell's like what the
25.
same Devin is?
Devin is 25. He's not 26
Yeah.
to October. That
Yeah.
is
Cause then
wild.
because in that draft he was the youngest player.
Yeah, he was like 18.
Yeah.
And his birthday
So
is not till October, so it's not to literally the season starts.
right. So
That is
it
wild.
makes sense. Whereas Donovan, I think, is what,
Probably,
26?
I think they're probably the same age. Which
I think
is
Donovan's a little bit older.
no, I don't think he's that old. Cause he only spent two years in college.
So I think Donovan's 26 though.
Donovan is 25. He
Oh, okay.
is a month older
Oh,
than
okay.
Devin Booker.
Because Donovan spent 2 years in college, but Devin got drafted 2 years before. So
Yeah,
they would have been rookies the same year if they both left the same year.
yeah. Donovan is a month older than Devin Booker. That's crazy.
Yeah. So
Like,
he's probably thinking like, I don't have the time to be in the league for what, 6 years.
yeah.
Like
On top of
like
that,
uh
he
like
kind of
Devin.
has the D Wade game, whereas
Hmm.
like D Wade was super athletic, and then the knee problem started to happen,
Yeah.
and it had forced him to change his game, and he wasn't as elite as he once was. Even though he still had the post game, he still could rebound well, he still could get
Took a
blocks.
shoot.
He still could get shit going, get to the free throw line.
Yeah.
All the old school plays he had. But it's like you don't want to be that guy because you don't
Right.
have the ring already. The way already had a
Right.
ring when he
Right.
started to transition into that. So you gotta put yourself in the best position. And he's 25, so a lot of teams. Imagine if he
Yeah.
teams up with Luca. Imagine if they put a package together and they try to get. Well, they would have to need Jalen Brunson, but they don't have him no more. So
Right. The teams that honestly have the best package to offer, giggity, are probably the Nets, the Knicks, and maybe Miami, but the Miami and the Nets, like Miami, I don't think really wants Donovan Mitchell that bad
I think
that they would be willing to give up like Tyler Hero
because
and
you
Bam.
delete your chances of Kevin Durant, and I don't think
Right.
Pat Riley's going to do that. I just don't think that Pat Riley, like as good as Donovan Mitchell is, that is
Right.
Kevin Durant.
Right. The Knicks, I'm sure, would have definitely wanted him, but that's before they signed Jalen Brunson.
Not even that. Yeah, you don't want that. They both like 6'1", so that
Yeah.
small lineup in the East once again, where like
Right.
the best. I'm going to say the best guards are. Should I say
Yeah.
that? Can I say that? No, no, they're
No.
on the other side. Everyone.
I would say right now, it's tough. Right now, I would say the
No, it's the
best
West.
bigs. I would say the best bigs are in the East, and the best guards and forwards are in the West.
Steph, Dame's still a problem. John Morant, Luca, yeah, they got him.
Donovan, Chris Paul, Devin.
They got him.
I would still
All
say
we
the
got
West
is
has the best
Kyrie,
guard.
Jalen
Right.
Brown,
I would
and
say the East has the best bigs,
yes, for sure.
like Giannis, Joel, Bam. Uh, shit. I put Al Horford up there still. He's not
Apparently, he
amazing,
doesn't
but
get it. He doesn't get that he's old as fuck.
yeah, he's Al Horford's not amazing, but he's better than the starting center on several Western Conference teams, several Western Conference contenders,
Yes.
not just teams. Um, so yeah, so I would say the East, and we have Kristaps, just came back to the East.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the
I
Nets
think
probably have a
I
good
would
a
put it.
good like set of players, but at the same time, it's like who wants to go to Utah?
I feel like the East. How to put it is, I think the West has more of the names, but the
Mm,
East is the more physical side. Like in terms of
okay.
everybody you have to go through, I think the East is more physical.
I would probably agree with that. I think it's also kind of hard to gauge because so many players in the West were injured last year.
Yes,
Like we forget Kawhi's still a thing, you
Kawhi is still
know.
a thing. Yes,
Yeah.
he's still
Like
a person. Yes,
yeah, Anthony Davis and LeBron were out in and out of the lineup for most of the year. Um like there were a lot of players
Jamal
that were
Murray
kind of
wasn't
just
there. Um,
Jamal Murray's not there, Michael Porter Jr. is not there,
when he
who's,
was there, he was terrible.
technically a power forward or small forward, I think.
Yes,
Zion
probably a small forward
still
with Aaron
out.
Gordon there.
Yeah. Zion's still out. So like, there were a lot of like people in and out of the lineup. Same thing for the East, but not no, I don't think it was as bad.
No,
But
it
in the
wasn't. It was.
East,
It,
I
it
think
didn't get bad to the playoffs
yeah.
where damn near
Yeah. I
everybody was
think
injured.
I think the biggest shakeup for the playoffs in the East was Chris Middleton going down.
Yes, for sure,
Because
100%, 100%.
that could have changed everything. Um Ben Simmons, if he decided to play, that might have changed a lot. Uh because as we know, like Ben's shortcomings are very well documented, but the things he does great fit amazingly next to Kyrie and Kevin Durant.
And
Um,
it's crazy that we're probably never going to get to see that.
Probably not.
I
Um,
still think like if I have to put a percentage on it, I think there is still a 50-50 chance that KD is still going to be there next year.
oh yeah, because I mean, at this point, there's nothing. I think the Nets have shown that the Nets are looking at Kevin Durant like that, like mom who's like overprotective of her son,
Mm-hmm.
and like every girl he brings home just is never good enough.
See, this is the thing.
Like the
Phoenix could be taken out of this situation because
yeah,
Kevin Durant can go back. He's under contract. He can go back to
hmm
the Brooklyn Nets. Once you sign DeAndre Ayton to that contract, you can't trade for Kevin Durant now
right,
because
because Ben
just like
Simmons is there.
Bam, yeah, just like Bam, he has a rookie extension, and
Yep.
whether they're gonna and then if they trade DeAndre Ayton, that's a big core of what you were going to send for Kevin Durant, and
Yep.
they're already in talks with Indiana trying to do a swap for Miles Turner. So it's like, teams are trying to like turn an eye, and even Miami is like kind of making more like turning towards. Even I think the organization is turning, but Pat Riley still has his fucking eye on fucking Kevin Durant. But the organization
Yeah.
is turning more so to Donovan Mitchell. Like they just made an offer for Donovan Mitchell. If you make an offer
hmm
for Donovan Mitchell, you're out of fucking Kevin Durant. Like it's a lot of people are
Right.
just saying like, listen, it's probably not going to happen. We got to make a move that's going to happen right now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The thing is urgency. Teams are looking at this like, all right,
It's
if
wide
we
open right
want
now.
them, if we're gonna get them, we have to get them now.
Yes.
Whereas the Nets are like, we'll wait.
Like,
Like
well,
they're,
listen,
right now nothing is gonna be good enough because it's still so soon. In their minds, see, I think the problem is in the Nets' mind, they're kind of looking at it the same way we looked at the Ben Simmons situation, where it's like you hold off until you get the best deal possible. In the beginning of the season last year, nobody would have suspected we would end up with James Harden for Ben
but
Simmons.
this is the whole thing.
But
But this is the whole thing with that. James Harden didn't win out yet.
exactly,
So
and I think
that plays
that's
a factor. Let's say we do a trade in the beginning and then James Harden wants out. We look fucking
right,
stupid.
right. I think the problem with the Nets is that they are expecting or hoping for a similar situation. because it's almost the exact same situation, with the exception of Kevin Durant's trade value being more than Ben Simmons.
Godly.
So
12 times
other
Ben
other
Simmons.
other than that, it's almost the exact same situation. You have a player who's under contract for 4 more years requesting a trade. The only difference, the only two differences, Kevin Durant has not made it clear that he's going to sit out, and Kevin Durant has a much higher trade value. So the offers are coming a lot quicker for Brooklyn than they were for us. But I think Brooklyn's looking at it like, all right, well, we could just do what Philly did and just hold out until we get whatever we want, the best possible offer. But at the same time, it's like when you have a player like Kevin Durant, now you have the opposite issue where the trade value might be too high, and
And
you're
then
never going to get what you actually probably deserve for him.
I would like to throw this in there. A lot of people have said the reason Kevin Durant has not been moved yet, and the reason like people are turning the eye, like when Brooklyn wanted Anthony Edwards, Carl Anthony Towns, and 4 first-round picks, right? And
Yeah.
your ideal mind, you go, well, that's Kevin Durant,
Yeah,
but
like it's a fair trade.
you got to think about this. Kevin Durant's about to be 35.
Right.
That's what
So
people.
Minnesota won't do it.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So there's a lot of young teams that are not going to go. Well, it's Kevin Durant, but he puts us over. Like Memphis is not going to go. Well, we have a whole bunch of shit that no. They're like,
Yeah.
bro, let's stick together. Fuck that shit. We the next dynasty. Like no, like
Yeah.
y'all can do that shit. Like the Warriors are playing around with the idea, but we all know they're not going to do that shit again.
No.
Like it's
They didn't even do it the first time. Really, they signed Kevin. They didn't trade for him. They were never going to trade. The Warriors have never traded for a big name star.
no.
They've never done it. They probably will never do it because
Wait,
at this point,
time out. They traded for All-Star starter Andrew Wiggins.
okay,
Almost runner-up for Finals MVP Andrew Wiggins.
okay, yeah, they
These
traded
are
for Andrew.
these are
They
things
traded
that.
for Andrew Wiggins and gave up D'Angelo Russell. So
Time out.
yeah, that was
craziest
a
thing-
smart trade.
The craziest thing is that everything I just said is fucking true. Like
Yeah.
that's the craziest shit.
They traded for Andrew Wiggins, but they traded D'Angelo Russell in exchange for him, who was an All-Star before Wiggins. So in reality, they traded something that they didn't need, but probably at higher worth. Remember, at that point in time, people were like, "Really? They probably could have got more for Russell than just Wiggins."
Because he just dropped 50, literally the week
Yeah.
or two before he got traded.
Right. So they traded something that probably had higher value for what they actually something that they actually needed,
If we be
which
honest,
was another wing who could defend and who could also score.
basically they wanted Harrison Barnes back. And it's okay.
Exactly. But they weren't willing to pay like
Top dollar.
Harrison Barnes money for a guy who was that old.
Yeah.
So, it kind of just that trade made sense. But a Kevin Durant trade, it's like, okay, yeah, we know what Kevin Durant can do. We've had him in this organization before, but they've never been the team to trade a whole bunch of young assets and draft picks for a star player who's like 30 over 30.
This is the thing, right? The Warriors probably entertain this more if they're not the fucking reigning defending champions.
Exactly.
We did it without you, bro. Like we don't
twice
need you.
now.
And now on top of that, we would be trading one of the key pieces in us winning the championship.
Exactly.
And then our young core, which
Right.
really in reality, fuck you, bro. We got our 2 championships. And we just got another one. And we still have a young core that we're rebuilding under our championship team. I'm not touching. Hey, listen, Kevin, I know who you are. Everybody knows who you are. Top 15 all time. You're staying in Brooklyn. Because, like, I'm not. Listen, bro. I'm not happening.
Because as great as Kevin Durant is, we can never forget that the last time he was in a Warriors uniform, he was sitting on the bench. Because of his health, like because of his Achilles. That's one of the things that come along with having an older player.
And James Harden won it out.
Right.
He was injured.
So that's one of the things that comes along with having an older player. With the Warriors championship run that we just saw, they didn't have that issue. Like
they had a mix. They had a good mix of young and older guys.
When you have those younger guys, number one, it takes a little bit of the load off of your older players as far as like running up and down the court on fast breaks and playing like hard defense for a full shot clock. Like all that kind of comes off of your older players a little bit. And on top of that, you can afford to get so many of them that injuries are a non-factor. And you don't have to play them all the time.
Listen, Warriors have a young, a 3-and-D wing, a young guy who was literally following the footsteps of Steph Curry
Mm-hmm.
and Jordan Poole.
Yep.
Two defensive young wings in Moody and Kuminga. A big man that they drafted number 2 who didn't even play last year.
Yep. Who looked amazing in summer league, by the way.
The Warriors are in the perfect situation.
Yep.
Like this is a $1 trillion situation.
They have exactly what they have everything the Lakers needed
Yes.
and still need,
If
but
the
decided
Lakers,
not to get.
if the Lakers see, this is the thing. The Lakers are a team where it's like star driven, everything like that.
It's the opposite. It's the
Right.
literal opposite.
If the Lakers would have stayed pat and go, we're going to keep Julius Randle, we're going to keep Brandon Ingram, we're going to keep D'Angelo Russell, or we'll trade him, whatever. Got Lonzo.
Right.
We're going to keep all these players, Jordan Clarkson's, all that. The Lakers would be way better than those motherfuckers that they threw out.
Alex Caruso.
You probably don't win the champion. Well, I don't even know what you do.
I
Because
think they
all
do.
grow-
I think they do win a championship.
Right. This is the whole thing. They don't do it as soon as they did, right then
No,
and there.
no.
But they're competing. They're like the Boston Celtics,
Yep.
where they got young guys. You sign some veteran guys, stuff like that. Like you're in the same situation as the Celtics. Plus you got
Yeah.
draft picks. Plus you know what I'm saying. Like it's the title of the team, and it comes with being a Laker franchise that you have to go for the big stars. And it panned out because you won a championship, but it's
But see, I don't even know if that's true because the last time the Lakers won a championship, they only had 2 stars. They had other players who were very well known, who were obviously great at what they did. They had Lamar Odom. They had
fit pieces. You talking about the last time they won a championship?
the Lakers. No, I'm sorry, not the last time. Before that, in 2010, they had Lamar Odom. They had Ron Artest. They had guys who were really good, but they weren't all stars. They weren't like superstars.
Yep, Derek Fisher,
Derek
Farmar,
Fisher, Shannon Brown, I think was still on that team.
Jordan Farmar.
Like-
I think you mentioned Ron Artest already.
Yeah,
Paul.
I would say Powell was the star at that point.
he was,
Powell and Kobe were probably their only 2 stars, and then Andrew Bynum was up and coming. But even then, you could also argue that just like DeAndre Jordan and Chris Paul, Andrew Bynum's success was probably due to just being on a team with Kobe Bryant and Pau Gasol.
Yes.
So, like, I think that's already been proven that the Lakers have had success without a team full of superstars.
Mm-hmm. So
or the 2 biggest superstars.
I think we are in the situation as Sixer fans where we're not in the Golden State situation. Like we're not champions, we're not anything like that. But if you look at our roster layout, it's a lot of similar things to obviously we don't have Steph Curry, but we have a Joel Embiid. You know what I'm saying? Like you go down the list, you go, well,
we have literally the league's leading scorer.
Right. Like you go down the list, you go, oh, we got the tough guy, they got Draymond, we got PJ, you got Clay, we got James, you got Steph, we got Joel, you got Wiggins, we got Tobias, you got Jordan Poole, we got Tyrese Maxey. Like, you know, you go down the list and you go, there's a lot of fucking pieces that can be like, okay, this team could do it. Like, and I think we put ourselves in a position like where they had Juan Toscano Anderson, Otto Porter, we got Matisse Thybulle, Daniel House. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of pieces where I think we put ourselves in a great position to actually compete for a championship. Like, I've never been this excited about a Sixers season.
The thing that I think has always separated the Sixers, not separated, but the thing that's always held us back that Golden State fixed perfectly, they found the perfect coach for Steph and Clay. Mm-hmm. They literally got one of the greatest shooters ever to come and coach the greatest shooters ever.
Right.
And he was able to implement a system that was based around shooters. He was like, these are the plays that used to get ran for me.
Are you saying the Sixers need to hire Tim Duncan?
I would love to. I would love if the Sixers could hire a coach that can get the maximum out of Joel Embiid because he's done it before. Like
I mean, some people would
if it was
say,
Tim Duncan, if it was uh Patrick Ewing who's coaching in Georgetown right now, I believe.
mm-hmm,
Like if it was one of those guys, I would love to give them a shot.
Rasheed Wallace.
Not to say that I don't like Doc Rivers because I know like
I mean,
people are off Doc Rivers already.
people can argue that Joel had his best years under Doc Rivers. Like you can
Exactly.
literally, I mean, he had his
Exactly.
2 MVP seasons under Doc Rivers.
I
You know?
mean, you could also argue that Joel has been progressively getting better regardless
Yes.
of who the coach was,
Yeah.
except for the one year when they tried to play him next to another center and his numbers dropped. But other than that, Joel's numbers have been progressively getting better every year.
And it's like,
You could attribute that partially to him just being in better shape every year too.
mm-hmm,
Having playing more games,
more spacing, more,
right?
things
Having a
like that.
better team around him.
100%. You could definitely say that. But I'm saying, like, if you look at the body of work and the situations, like Doc is not a bad coach.
No, not at all.
He's just not a coach in this era. Whereas like it's a lot of young guys. A lot of guys
Yeah.
you gotta just take a chance, and Doc doesn't, like, he doesn't take chances. Like he would rather play DeAndre Jordan rather than Charles Bassey, who just put up literally in that same week DeAndre Jordan is a minus 35 in 12 minutes, and then that same week Charles Bassey put up 35, 17, and 7 blocks in the fucking G League. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's not the NBA, but it's better than DeAndre Jordan, who was like literally. It's crazy that DeAndre Jordan was one of the first people signed in free agency.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, man, stay get a job, man. Stay with a job.
Yep.
I think he was a better bench guy, kind of like Amir Johnson, where like he had
Yeah.
a lot to say, he had a lot of experience, stuff like that, and a lot of players
Yeah.
listened to him. That's why probably Denver got him, maybe, because they got Zeke Naji, who I would think would be a better backup than Jordan. I mean, than DeAndre Jordan.
Right. I would agree.
So he might be just
I would agree.
a locker room guy, like Jared Dudley. Jared Dudley barely played with the Lakers, but he's always one of the guys when the Lakers. You talk about who was a pivotal part about the team. It was a lot of people would say Jared Dudley.
And also something to be said about, I don't know if you could say the same thing about DeAndre Jordan, but with Jared Dudley, a lot of people say that he's one of the smarter players in the league
I mean, he's a
as
coach
far as
now.
like just basketball IQ, right? And now he's a coach, so he's a great player to have, even just to help develop the other younger players. DeAndre Jordan is probably a great locker room guy in the sense that he's
Person,
he's vocal,
yeah,
he's a good person, he's funny, he's good to have around.
but that's basically
Um,
Tobias.
Right. For us, that would be basically Tobias. I mean, I would even.
You had another
Some
guy.
people have even said that like Joel's stepping into that role a little
Yeah.
bit more as well.
Tyrese
so,
said that. Tyrese said that
Yeah.
Joel was like his first year there. Joel barely talked, and now Joel is
Yeah.
like on everybody's ass.
hmm
And then you add another
and even
guy,
like the team dinner things, like
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like that's important.
like that's literally JJ. Like JJ like commended him for doing that because
Yeah.
he wanted them. They wanted to do that when they were a team, but they just never did it because there were so many parts that did not like each other. And he was like,
Yeah.
there was a lot of cliques and stuff like that. So now that Joel's the guy, he's head honcho and he's doing this shit. And then you have other guys like Tobias Harris's. You had the Dwight Howard staying after games working with shots with the players. It's ironic because he was shooting threes and it's Dwight Howard. But it, like, you know what I'm saying? And now once
Yeah.
again adding a PJ Tucker who was like
Right.
you have these other guys who can talk to the players. Then you have PJ Tucker who's like a foundation where
Right.
what they say is cemented now. So it's
Right.
it is a perfect blend, a perfect storm. Because like James Harden was challenging Tyrese. Can you imagine what PJ Tucker is gonna do?
Right.
Can you imagine?
Exactly.
Like I would literally like James, you got Tyrese. Joel, you take the big man. PJ, get on fucking Matisse.
Yep.
Get like bro, teach him your corner magic. Like teach him your corner magic.
Teach him your corner magic.
Teach him your
Like
corner
they're about to
magic.
start Tokyo drifting. Like, teach him how to work the corners.
Teach him how like literally like PJ Tucker. And I mean obviously he's way bigger than Matisse, but they're the same height.
Yeah.
Like, they're the same
Heavier,
height.
yeah. I
Same
was about to say
height.
he's bigger this
Right.
way.
Right.
Like-
And he's bigger this way.
Yeah.
Oh God, this is reminding me of what you said to me and Tyrese, and I fucking hate you. Think about it now. Yes, you remember. You know exactly what the fuck you said. Yes.
No, I don't.
Yes, yes, you do. Yes,
I
you
don't know
do.
what you're
This,
talking
this
about.
is exactly why you're laughing.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yo, so I'm making this trade right now because I think
Hmm.
we are one piece away. We have a lot. We need a sniper. We
Hmm.
just need one guy. Like George Niang is good, but we saw in the playoffs he was not shit. He was like 0 for
Yeah.
7, like the entire playoffs. I think he probably hit like 1-3 in that Miami series. Obviously, Miami is a great team, but still, you need something more consistent than that. And I'm currently putting together a trade because we got
See, the
some
thing
money.
about Miami is they're so athletic, they can close out really quick. And Georgia's shot is kind of slow. He doesn't have a very quick release at all.
Miami took a hit. You know, they took a big hit
Hmm.
and losing somebody we gain, and we're happy about it.
Yep.
So they bring back Victor Oladipo, they bring back Dwayne Dedman,
Hmm.
bring back somebody else, I forget, but they still have a good defensive team. But I think their identity obviously can still rest with Jimmy.
Yeah.
UD,
I
I
mean,
think,
they still have the foundation of their culture there. Pat
right,
Riley is still there. Eric Spoelstra, Jimmy,
but now,
Udonis Haslam.
right, and now the thing is, we have the better players. They just had the better team. Now you add a piece of your culture to
Hmm.
us, who had the better player, and now we have an equal team compared to you. Now we have your culture. You can't fuck with us now.
Well, I don't know if it'll be that simple.
I mean, I'm
I
not
think
saying
I,
like you
I think
drop him in here and we're automatically he culture. Like I'm just saying like
right.
a more stern, more like holding accountable. Like we did a lot of
Yeah.
that this year, but like I feel like it's going to be like really on top of shit.
I think it always starts with the best player.
Mm-hmm.
With Miami, they will never have to worry about Jimmy not being vocal
Mm-hmm.
or not saying enough or not being involved enough or getting into people's faces enough. With us, with Joel, I think Joel's nature is a little bit more
Show,
forgiving
yeah.
than Jimmy's.
I mean, like we saw that, but
I think it takes a little bit more to I think it takes a little bit more to get that aggressiveness out of Joel than it does out of Jimmy.
I would say yes, but I'll also bring up 2 points. Joel literally got into Matisse in a fucking press conference. Like they're doing the press
True.
conference, and he's like, "There's no reason you shouldn't be shooting." He's talking, he's answering the question, but looking at Matisse and going, "Yeah, there's no reason he shouldn't be shooting. He should be shooting every time he get the ball. Why is he thinking about it? He should be shooting." Like literally, like and Tyrese, he was like, "Tyrese, you played like ass." Like they were over there literally
Yeah.
joking about how
Yeah.
bad he was playing. So in
And
that
he was like, I
situation,
airballed a floater. He
like
was like,
yeah,
I airballed a layup, and it was laughing.
and it was
But
laughing
Jimmy
about
would
it.
not have laughed. Jimmy
Like
would be
Jim
like,
will not
no,
laugh.
get
Like
that shit together.
it's very playful, but it's there. Because the
Yeah.
next game, Matisse had like 4 threes or like three
Right.
threes or something like that, and he started a run like we needed that next game. So
Yeah.
he has probably a different way about it, and
Which
James,
is fine.
you know what I'm saying? Like you might have James say something like that because like James, you know how James and Tyrese are, like
Right.
literally they go back and forth, and I like that Tyrese has the not has been given the confidence like installed by the
Hmm.
team where he feels though he can do that. Like a
Yeah.
lot of people, James Harden's yelling at me. They probably over there pouty and shit. No, he's coming right back with the shit, and I like that, and I really like that about him.
Yeah. I mean, I think Tyrese is a little bit in the sort of Jordan Poole situation where he's been given, the
Respect.
ability he's been given the freedom to grow up kind of quick.
Hmm.
Like he's gotten enough playing time, he's gotten enough run with the other stars, and he's been given the confidence from them and from the organization to be like, yo, you need to like you're one of us.
Yeah.
Like you need to get that into your head. Like you are one of the key players on this team. And I think Joel obviously calling him the franchise was huge, like giving him that nickname. I think it actually reminded me a little bit of D Wade talking about how Shaq gave him his nickname,
Flash.
Flash.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need that, right? Like in any situation, if you're taxi driver or whatever. Like having another veteran in the line of work that you do tell you like, hey man, like you're doing it. Like you know,
especially one
you're
of your
one of the
top
best. Like you
top
need to start carrying yourself that way. Yeah.
when an MVP caliber player is telling you, listen,
Start
when
acting like a star.
right when he's literally going, listen, all that shit you doing, that's cool, but I'm need you to close out this game. I'm
Yeah.
gonna need you. Like literally, he said he went to Tyrese when he was injured. He was like, I need you to win us the game.
Yeah.
Like the type of that shit. And then there was that Memphis game
Yep.
where Tyrese went against John McGrant, literally who went from most improved to MVP in a year, and
Yeah.
outplayed John Morant.
Yep.
It had one of the dopest finishes I've ever seen as a Sixers fan. But
Yeah.
like things like that, he has the confidence.
Right.
He
And
has that.
that's all thanks to the guy who a lot of people have been vying for the head coaching job, and that's Sam Cassell.
Sam Cassell.
I personally like Sam Cassell as more of a player development coach than a head coach. I think
Are you
like
scared
the
of it's going to be more of a Brett Brown situation? Also, Brett Brown is back in the
no,
league.
he is. He's an assistant
We
again.
haven't talked about that. We haven't talked about literally the Spurs are going through a process. They was like,
Yeah.
let's Brett, come on. Come
Yep.
on, Pop
But
is
he's
about
an
to retire.
assistant though. He's an assistant.
Think about this, Pop is not going to coach forever. And you're going
Right.
into a rebuild.
But I think they would give honestly. Becky's gone now, so I don't.
Becky's
I don't.
Bucky I think
Uh,
Becky's still going to be a coach come she's still going to be a coach in the
well,
Spurs.
she's coaching. She's a head coach of
But that's the summer.
yeah. But do you want to coach year round?
Hell yeah, money.
Money, but
she's
that's
not
time too. Like,
she's not
and that's
getting
two different teams you got to basically manage. Like
she's not
that's
getting
30 different grown personalities that you have to manage year round.
but in her eyes, you got to go like she's getting paid like $1 million to coach the Las Vegas Aces when she could be getting like 4 or 5 to just be
Yeah.
one of the main assistants. You got to go like the WNBA players. They don't want to go overseas, but they make more money overseas than
But
they
they're
do.
just playing though. As a coach, like that's a year round job. Like players and coaches still get together to work out, in the off season.
Mhm.
Players still go to their coach for advice, for drills, for whatever in the off season. So like the idea of you being on the sideline coaching a WNBA game and like fucking one of the Spurs players is calling you like, "Hey, what should I be working on?" It's like, bro, I don't even I'm in the middle of coaching a game.
But I
Like
would
coaching
also
year round for two teams, that's tough.
I would also assume like everybody has multiple assistant coaches. Everybody has a whole team of
Yeah.
people. So it's like we know she's doing this. So I'm not gonna call her. Like I'm not gonna bother her because she's doing this shit. Like she might be
That's true.
a vital part of your development, a vital part of your life, or like
Yeah.
how you're being coached. But it's like okay, she's doing that. I'm gonna talk to her on her off day. I know her, schedule. She got a game this night. I'm not gonna call her this week. Like you know what
But
I'm saying?
there is
Stuff
no
like that.
off day.
That's what I'm saying. Like yeah. But
If I'm Becky Hammond, I don't know if I want to do that. I think I just finish my contract with the WNBA and then evaluate my options.
Cause like Becky Hammond, I'll be honest with you, Becky Hammond is going to be the first woman coach in the NBA. Like
Probably either
it just
either
feels like
Becky
her.
Hammond, either Becky Hammond or
Dawn
Dawn Staley.
Yeah, I just don't think Dawn Staley is going to leave college.
I don't know if she wants to. I think Dawn Staley wants to coach women. I don't think she has any interest in coaching men.
Yeah, Dawn Staley, she get to wear whatever
Whereas
she
Becky
wants.
is like, I'll coach anybody.
I'll
She
fucking
just
do
wants
it.
she just wants to coach in general. She just wants to coach high level basketball.
Yes, for
Whereas
sure.
with Dawn Staley, I think she's
She-
I think with Dawn Staley, it's sort of the Calipari thing where she enjoys not just coaching but also the mentorship aspect
Yeah,
of it, like
developing-
helping people
you're
grow up.
literally as a coach or as like a teacher or something like that, you're developing a person.
Right.
Whether it's your child or it's somebody you're just teaching, you're helping them install traits that they're going
Right.
to take on, and then it becomes them. Whether they,
Right.
they keep it with them or they they install it or they let it go. Either way, your job is to make sure they hear it. So
Right.
I mean, it might be just that.
So I think that's why Dawn Staley probably will never coach professionally. Same thing with Calipari, Calipari
Yeah,
coached
she's
professionally
done.
for a little while, but the reason why he
He
never
did.
went back. I believe so. Yeah.
Oh, was he like a head coach or
Um,
was he assistant?
I gotta look it up. He might have been an assistant. Let me look it up.
Oh, but also to
Um,
the point that you
but
said,
also Coach K, like Krzyzewski,
you said
never.
Becky wouldn't want to do both. When Dawn Staley did both, she played and then coached Temple.
What you mean, like at the same time?
Yes.
But that's different. Playing and coaching is probably a little bit easier than coaching and coaching.
Okay.
I'll put
Different
it to you like
plays,
this:
different shit like that.
coaching two different teams, coaching two different teams. Yeah, coaching two different teams year round is kind of like trying to learn two different languages at once.
You just run the same place. Just run
You
the
know what I
same
mean?
place. They be.
Just what?
I'll be watching. I'm a Las Vegas Aces fan, and they make
Yeah,
Asia Wilson run a lot of Tim Duncan shit, like a lot of mid range pops.
yeah,
They do. She does a lot of like some Spurs
right.
shit. Obviously, she's from the Spurs.
Yeah,
You know
like
the. Go ahead.
like yeah, I would say trying to coach two different teams is like trying to learn two different languages at once. Whereas trying to coach one team while you're playing for another one is like learning a foreign language while you're taking another class on like your native language. It's like if I took an English writing class while I took a Spanish class. The English writing class, I already know how to do that. I've already been doing that for years. This is really just me getting better. Whereas the Spanish class, this is all new to me. Coaching is kind of like that, where it's like for the most part, every year, depending on what situation you're in, you're probably getting some new players. You probably have to teach this system to new players. Or because of personnel changes, you probably have to change your system, right? And then on top of that, it's two different teams. So you have to deal with the changes of two different organizations simultaneously
Yeah.
every single year, all year. I don't know. I
That's
some
that.
people, I'm sure if anybody could do it, it would be Becky Hammond.
But
But
do you
I
think
wouldn't want to do it.
that's the same as like a general manager like in the sports, whereas like I seen like it
It's
was
really close.
like they were obviously in Las Vegas with the summer league, and they were pointing out Brooklyn. I forget who their GM name is. I know they're
Sean Marks.
no, that's the basketball operation guy. That's their Daryl Morey.
It is. Oh,
It's like
okay.
Bobby Yim or something like
General
that.
manager.
It's like Yim, Bobby Yim. I'm not sure. Um,
Okay.
but he had like three phones. Like
Yeah.
he had three phones. Like they were like, imagine that, bro. Not fuck the bill. You're getting paid regardless. It's like you have a family
Yeah.
phone, you have probably a team phone, and then you have like the trade phone. Like you know what I'm saying? Like just
I would
balancing all
say
that, and then on top of that, balancing your family as well.
yeah. I would say because that's the thing. Like coaches are also involved in like recruiting and like all different kinds of stuff. The only difference is I would say a GM's job picks up as far as like intensity a little bit more like in the middle of the
I
season
think it
and then
depends
in
on
the
the
off season.
situation as well. Like
Right.
now he's like on his phone fucking 24 fucking 7 trying to get,
Exactly.
you know what I'm saying?
So I think for a GM, your job picks up in the middle of the season around the trade deadline and like waiver claims and all that kind of stuff. And then in the off season when you have the draft and free agency.
Mm.
For a coach, it's the opposite. Your job is at its most intense during the season and then the postseason. But then in the immediate time following the postseason, like you don't really do anything. It's not really until the draft and free agency comes back around that they start calling you like, hey, do you have any opinions?
Right.
What are you looking at? Like, you know, are there any players or whatever? And then after that, you get like almost immediately after that, you get training camp and preseason, and then you're back into another season.
While you were talking about that, I made a trade.
Okay.
So remember how I said Furcon and Shake are not
Oh,
gonna
but
be good?
wait a second. I forgot to finish. I just realized we swerved onto Becky Hammond,
That's what
and I
he.
never finished what we were talking about with Brett Brown.
That's what she said.
Okay, she must have
I,
been a
I
lesbian.
I had to think about it. I had to think about. I was like, can I use this? Can I go? That's what he said. Can I go there? But
And
then
you decided on that's what she said.
yeah, because it
Well,
was
I mean,
like,
it's the
well, it's
WNBA. So, anywho,
okay.
so anyway, when we were talking about Brett Brown, and you're saying Pop won't coach forever, I think they would offer that job before Brett Brown to either Becky Hammon or Tim Duncan before Brett Brown.
I don't think Tim wanted to do that shit. Tim coached for 1 year and was like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
I don't know if he would want to, but I think if Pop asked him to, he would maybe give it a shot,
Or Tony Parker.
even if it's just as an assistant,
Go, hey, Tony, you want to do this?
or Tony,
You know what I mean?
or Manu.
I feel like Manu doesn't want to do nothing about that shit.
No, I don't think
Manu,
man. I don't think
Manu,
Manu wants to do anything.
yeah, Manu's just chilling. Like I think Tony would probably.
He's in Argentina, like on a beach,
Yeah, just
just
chilling
chilling.
life. Like
Yeah,
Tony probably seems like a guy that would probably do it.
yeah.
But yo, Becky.
Tony's the only one out of those three who play for a different team. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, and for that reason,
Manu almost played for a different team.
almost, yeah. But for that reason, I think Tony would do it because I think he just wants to be around basketball.
Who was that team, Sean?
That Manu almost played for? Ooh, it's a tough one. Well, all right, give me a hint. Western Conference or Eastern Conference? Because I can't remember. Western?
Eastern Conference.
Eastern.
He used this team as leverage to get more money. But if the Spurs didn't offer him the deal, he was going to take that deal.
Was it New York?
Close.
New Jersey?
Closer.
Because at the time it was New Jersey Nets.
Closer.
Closer? Oh, Philly.
Yes.
But yeah.
Manu was going to sign with the Sixers if Spurs did not give him the money he felt like he deserved.
Mm.
Well,
remember when Tim Duncan was going to sign with Orlando?
Yes. I mean, I don't remember it because I wasn't watching basketball. I was probably one when this happened. Was I? Or was I probably was a little older than that.
Wait, how old are you?
I am 21, about to be 22.
No, you were older than one. You were probably
Didn't it happen like 2005? Because like 7 years after you're up for the big one.
Yeah.
So he was drafted in '98, right?
No, he was drafted in '95.
Tim Duncan was drafted in '95.
Or 90.
It had to be like 90. No, he got drafted after Kobe.
So 97.
Yeah,
because he was the number one pick.
Yeah,
it was 97.
It was 97.
Because 98 was the year Paul
97.
Paul Pierce and Dirk Nowitzki got
97.
drafted. Yeah.
So 7 years plus 97 is
2004.
2004. Yeah, I was 4. Actually, free agency started. I was 3. I didn't even turn 4 yet.
Okay. But yeah. But that was just the only thing that I wanted to finish was that the Popovich thing. I think they would they would call at least and offer the job to Becky Hammon or Tim Duncan before Brett Brown.
Because he was going to go play with Grant Hill. Hill, that was Doc Rivers was the coach.
Mm-hmm.
Grant Hill and Tracy McGrady, right?
Yep.
And it was like one of the things that what was the story? He was like
he said he had another meeting with San Antonio.
And the GM was like, "You fucked up. You fucked up."
Yeah, he's like, he's like, why would you let him leave?
Right.
He's like, if you let him, if you let him take that San Antonio meeting, you're not getting him.
Ain't no way Pop was gonna let his ass go. Like, ain't no way.
Yep. That's like when Nike tried to do with LeBron, or not Nike,
Adidas. Yeah.
Adidas tried to do with LeBron. They were like, if we'll offer you $10 million to just not even take the Nike meeting. Like, we'll offer you right now $10 million to sign with us and don't talk to Nike.
Don't talk to them.
They knew. And he was like, I'm going to go talk to Nike. And then signs with Nike.
What else was there? Oh, yeah.
The trade.
He didn't, I'm going to go to that. Right. He didn't want to, he had a girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
And his girlfriend traveled with them.
Yeah.
And he wanted his
family to travel with the team.
Yeah. And Steven Jackson was like, when he interviewed Doc on All the Smoke, it was like, yeah, and Tim thanks you for that, because he broke up with her like a couple weeks later or something like that.
Yeah.
The trade that I did, once again, I said that Furkan, Shake have lost their roles. They have lost them, And
Pretty much, yeah.
there's a young guy that I like, but I don't know if he's NBA ready. I like him in the G League. I like him, um, but he's not NBA ready. I traded Furkan Korkmaz, Shake Milton, Jaden Springer for Seth Curry.
Okay.
Three guys who are not going to play this year for
Okay.
one guy that definitely will. Like, dude,
That's not
definitely
a
will.
bad trade.
It's
That's
kind of
not a
like,
bad
in my
trade.
mind, it's like a lesser Malcolm Brogdon trade, whereas like
Yeah.
you traded the guys that you weren't going to play anyway for
Yeah.
somebody who definitely comes in and comes off the bench now.
I
So and
it's
then
not a it's not an unfair trade, but I don't think Brooklyn does it because of what's lingering with Kyrie. I think Seth is pretty much the Kyrie replacement at this point.
throw in a first round pick.
Well, yeah, but but I think until that situation gets resolved and they see
Actually,
what they can get in return for KD and Kyrie, I don't think they're moving Seth.
actually, definitely throw in the first round pick now. Throw it in now,
Yeah,
because
Brooklyn has none.
no, not even that. NBA is starting to investigate. Uh,
Oh yeah,
they're investigating. One they already
with PJ, right?
not even PJ. They
Uh,
started with Jalen Brunson. The Knicks are going to get fined or get picks taken away because of they
the
signed the
tampering.
contract. Yeah, way before. But
Yeah,
The Knicks argument is that his dad literally works here. Like his dad, like you're gonna tell this man not to talk to his dad. Like, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And his godfather is the GM. Like this is
yeah.
literally. It's like if RJ Barrett was linked to the Nets, his godfather is fucking Steve
Is the
Nash.
coach? Yeah,
Like, so it's like it's kind of weird, but most likely gonna get like a second round pick taken away from him. Kind of like it happened
yeah.
this year. Instead of 60 picks, it was 58. We are they. I was listening to a little bit of Zach Lowe podcast today. That was like they would look into Philly, that James Harden thing.
Right.
Not for the fact that James Harden, for the fact of who it freed up to get, right? Because there was multiple teams in the running for PJ Tucker.
Hmm.
Daniel House, I mean, I don't know who was looking for Daniel House, but he's a very good, solid role player. But there's a lot
Yeah,
of teams that wanted PJ Tucker. So he was like, a lot of
yeah,
teams might not even care about the James Harden aspect. They were like, because they knew they wasn't going to get James Harden, but they probably had a good feeling they would get PJ. So
yeah,
they might tell the league to investigate it, and then we probably have like second round picks or it doesn't matter.
yeah,
Because they were like,
yeah,
well, why it take so long for James to sign? Why did it, you know what I'm saying? James was supposed
yeah.
to, as part of the trade, opt into his year his player option next year. He was supposed to opt in as a part of the
Right,
trade, and
right,
all of a sudden, this was Zach Lowe said he didn't meet the time or something like that.
right.
So they're going like, well, if I'm a GM and I wanted PJ Tucker, I'm going, hey, so what about that trade? Like, what about this? What about this? And he had Sean Marks on, who obviously was a part of the first Brooklyn trade.
Hmm.
And he was like, yeah, I would, like when they did the trade with who was it, and they didn't like it. It was like five
Who?
teams. I forget the trade that happened.
You talking
Um,
about to get James?
no, it was Sean Marks. He was talking about a trade that they did. I forget the trade, but he was like five teams complained. It was
Oh,
like five teams complained. We're in the East, and four of the teams were in the West. So they just fucking complained just to fucking say something. Like,
mm.
and I forget what the trade it was. I wish I could remember.
You sure
Um,
it wasn't the one that get James?
no, he was talking about it was like it was the Andre Karolinko. They traded for Andre Karolinko.
Oh, yeah.
It was Andre.
Oh,
Actually, they didn't trade for him. It was a signing. So
right,
at that time before Brooklyn Nets, New Jersey Nets were brought,
right,
they had a Russian owner.
right.
Andre Karolinko, of course, is Russian.
Yeah,
Andre Karolinko turned down money to go back to the Jazz. I think it was. He turned down $10 million to sign with them for $4 million, and they were like, "Well, what's going on here? What is this? Why is he taking less money?" So the five teams complained about that because they wanted Andre Karolinko, who was
yeah,
a fucking defensive monster. I just
yeah.
fell off.
AK-47 was nice.
AK-47, man. I you know I
That was
didn't,
that's That's one of the top 5 nicknames in all of NBA history. It has to be. It has to
Yes,
be.
yes. Like Paul George literally changed his jersey number, so it could be PJ
Yeah.
13.
Yeah.
Who else has a jersey number? Um, added.
Uh,
Mike Conley.
I don't remember Mike Conley's jersey number.
His nickname is Mac, and his jersey number is 11. Mac 11.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I want to look up.
Yeah, I've never I feel like I haven't heard enough about Mike Conley to know his nicknames.
That was the nickname they gave him when he first got to
Memphis.
Memphis. It was like a
Yeah.
Memphis rapper or some shit like that. They gave him that nickname.
Okay.
Um,
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's not a bad trade, like I said. I just don't think Brooklyn does it. Not until they get the Kyrie and KD situation figured out. And
you get Shake,
Furkan.
who could be better. He had injuries majority of last season.
Mm-hmm.
Furkan, who
And then
Don't-
Shake has some.
and
He
then-
missed some games because of COVID too, right?
Jaden Springer would be your hypothetical first round pick.
Yeah.
You know, if you're throwing shit at the wall and you're signing TJ, who hasn't played in years, Edmund Sumner, who I forgot was an NBA player. Like if you're going to sign them, you'll take a young, relatively young, like they're all 25 or younger.
Yeah.
So for Seth, you want to throw a two second rounds in there just to make sure the deal happens? Cool.
But see, the thing is, though, the Nets are probably still thinking that they want to be competitive because at the end of the day, they still have Ben Simmons. So even if they do trade away Kyrie and Kevin Durant, Seth Curry is still one of the best, if not the best, pairings next to Ben Simmons.
You
that
still
can get,
have
and he's already on the team.
Joe
You still have
Harris.
Joe Harris. I know.
And
But
Patty
still,
Mills.
like Joe Harris and Patty Mills, yes. But they're both Patty Mills at least is older, and also he's a point guard. He's not a shooting guard.
Still can shoot.
He can shoot, yes, but
Joe
Seth
Harris
is a
can
two
shoot.
guard.
Joe
Seth
Harris
is a two guard, but Seth is a two guard who can play off the ball or on the ball, and he can get his own shot.
Stop making the case for them. I want Seth back.
Joe Harris is a shooting guard who can't really get his own shot. Patty Mills can, but he's a point guard. So,
and I low key think Seth wants to come back. Like he did an interview.
I do too. He
did,
said he wished that that the team last year they took to the playoffs, right?
Yeah, he said it last year, and then in the playoffs, who was there for Game 1, Game 3 of the Miami Heat series? Seth Curry. Also,
Yep.
Donovan Mitchell was there. So, I mean,
Well, yeah, that was interesting. That
Seth
was
Curry-
really interesting. When I saw that, I was like, "What?" I
Seth
was like,
Curry.
"That's weird."
Literally,
Seth being there wasn't as intriguing to me because Doc is still his father-in-law.
yes.
So that's still family. Like you're still going to watch your family coach. But Donovan being there, I was like, okay, this is odd.
See,
This is
Donovan was in the crowd.
weird. Right.
Seth was
But
on
still,
the same.
just being there
right.
was weird. Seth was courtside.
Seth was on the same side as the fucking bench. Like he
Yeah.
When Joel had that
Yeah.
and one, he literally dapped up Seth.
Yeah.
Like, so Seth, come back, bro. We want you back, and it seems like you want to be back. You know, you and
We'd love to have him back.
we'll, like literally, I think we're Seth Curry away from being the favorite. Whereas,
Yeah.
like, can you imagine Donovan Mitchell? Can you imagine Donovan Mitchell? Of course. Can you imagine?
We don't get Donovan Mitchell without giving up Tyrese, so
Yeah,
I'm
look.
good.
Imagine Tyrese Maxey and James Harden comes off the floor, and D'Anthony Melton and Seth Curry
Seth
comes
Curry.
on the floor.
Yeah.
That's the number one backup duo in the league.
Yep.
And then on top of that, Seth, you could play Seth out there because D'Anthony Melton's out there, Matisse Thybuure's out
Yeah.
there, Daniel House. So now you got hide Seth, and you could just,
Yeah.
like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then Seth.
Imagine if we
could
were
play make
actually
too.
able to re-sign. Imagine if we did this trade first, right? And got back Seth Curry, and then we were able to re-sign Andre Drummond. We would have probably the best bench in the league.
Yes. You know, obviously we don't need Andre Drummond because we have a legend on our team. So.
I know you love Charles Bassey, I know.
Charles Bassey,
But
bro.
still, Andre Drummond is Andre Drummond. He's
Charles Bassey is a god. Okay, he is a god. He's a
When
god
I
from the.
see him get 20 plus rebounds in a game, I will hold him to the same level of esteem that I do Andre Drummond.
He did.
An NBA game, not a G League game, not a college game, an
But
NBA
but
game.
but but has Andre Drummond locked up Jokic? No. Who's that? Who's that? Who was that? That was Charles Bassey. That was Charles
Okay.
Bassey. And we won by 20 that game. And Joel wasn't playing. Hmm. Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm. 20 rebounds, shutting down two-time MVP.
Okay.
I'm gonna
I
get
would
a
argue that they are both equally important in a game.
I'm gonna get a shirt that says "I love Charles Bassey" and I'm gonna wear it on one of these podcasts.
And he's going to get a fat restraining order on you.
I'm gonna get Charles Bassey, man. Um,
Yes, I now at this point I'm fine with just giving Charles Bassey a shot. But I mean, obviously we're not going to get Drummond. We're not going to get any of. I mean, DeMarcus Cousins is still out there, but still, I think I would rather give Charles Bassey a shot than try to re-sign DeMarcus.
and
Try to sign DeMarcus Cousins.
and I was watching a lot of podcasts, and I was watching the rights to Ricky Sanchez, which I tell you you should listen to. I think you
I know.
say you didn't. You gotta listen to. They're fucking hilarious. Um,
Okay.
and they were like, Daryl Morey is almost like forcing Doc by not signing a backup center to play.
To play,
Yeah,
yeah, Charles Bassey.
either one of those guys.
Yeah, or Paul.
Like I said, like give them reps. Go 41
Yeah.
and 41. Depending on
Because
the
here's the
matchup.
thing.
Like it's
Because here's the thing. This goes back to what I said in the beginning of why I would rather go into the season with 13 players. Because you still have the whole rest of the season to sign somebody.
yes.
Like you can still pick somebody up whenever. If there's some, if you want to, if he's not on a team by then, pick up DeMarcus Cousins. If Charles Bassey is just not working out, just go get somebody.
All right. Next episode, I was wanting to mention this to you because I wanted this episode to be this. But we should do a prediction episode for all 30 teams.
Okay.
A prediction
Like standings, like wins and losses.
where we see their ranges, what
Okay.
what it should be their what should they be looking for, things like that. We should do
Okay.
that next year, next episode. I want to
Okay.
do that. Just just have because we mentioned a lot of teams. We don't mention all the teams, but we mentioned for the most part a lot of the teams. Mostly the teams that are in the limelight. That's getting a lot of media attention.
Right.
So
But
just
there are
get,
others, obviously.
do a
Charlotte
little,
Hornets.
yeah, they exist. Um,
Yeah.
so just to do that, what they
New
are,
Orleans
because
Pelicans. That's a team.
that's a team.
Not
That's
very intimidating mascot, the Pelican. Actually, I take that back because I've seen a Pelican up close and they are scary. So I take that back. Pelicans will fuck you up.
they will fuck you up.
No, for real. And cranes. Oh my god. I saw one time I was in the woods and a pair of cranes
Why?
flew past. I was at this lake
Why?
and I was camping
Why?
because I enjoy nature and the outdoors.
Why?
Okay. Anyway, I was
gonna keep
camping.
going.
I was walking down to the lake and I literally get down to the edge of the water. And I'm looking out. There's like this little cove where you can just like see across the water. There's no bushes or anything, so you could just walk right out to the water. But literally, like 6 feet to the left, 6 feet to the right, is all bushes. You can't walk to the edge of the water and trees and everything. And I'm literally looking out across the water, and out of nowhere, two cranes fly past me, probably like 8 feet in front of me. When I tell you these were the biggest birds I've ever fucking seen in my entire life, seeing cranes on like National Geographic and on TV and stuff, it really messes with your idea of how big these animals are. Like their wingspan had to be like a car.
No.
Like it was crazy. I thought I was about to get abducted. I thought that they were pterodactyls. I didn't have my glasses on. I had to watch them fly away to realize that they were cranes. But at first, I was like, "Yeah, this is where I die."
I'm gonna tell you my bird story. So I forget where it is, where you drive through and like you feed the animals and stuff like that. It is like a drive. I forgot where the fuck that is. But we
Okay.
did that.
Okay. Ostrich.
Yes.
Yep.
It looked me into my fucking soul.
They have
Sean,
weird eyes.
Sean, I'm I, I had to be under 10, and I remember holding this shit out, the little
Yep.
feed out, and my hand is fucking shaking, bro.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
it's shaking, bro, because like they so aggressive, like they're so fucking
Yeah.
aggressive looking, and I was like, yeah, okay, we can go. They're like,
Yeah.
you don't want to feed another one? Drive, bitch. Like I don't know.
Ostriches, ostriches, owls, and storks, like those shoebill
I
storks,
hate,
have the
bro.
most aggressive looking faces.
And the thing about the shoebill short, the shoebill stork, right? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Cool.
it.
I just want to make sure because I get words fucked up. They're like the nicest fucking animal, bro.
I know, but they just look like they want to kill you.
Bro, they look like a fucking. You know what? For reference, I'm showing the people. If you're watching this,
Okay.
you're about to.
Owls too. Owls too. Owls have aggressive ass faces. Did
Dude,
you ever see the video of the dude who got an owl in his house and he like tried to picked the owl up with the broom, like, and the owl was just at the end of, he had like one of those push brooms, and it was at just like the end of the broom, and he's like trying to hang it out the window, and the owl is just staring into his soul the entire time, and he's like, please don't look at me like that. Like he's
for
begging the owl, like, just look away, please.
for all the everybody who's watching this, here's the demon that we are talking about. Okay, it looks so. Oh my god, it's so.
Not to mention the shoebill stork, when they make they make this noise where they like clap their beak
May look
together,
like a
and it sounds like a fucking machine gun.
Look at that.
Like it legit sounds like a
Over
like
35.
a machine gun that would be on top of like a tank or something. Like
Yeah.
if you played a shoebill stork noise around like a war veteran, he will freak out, or she.
Yes. Yes. I just showed everything.
Yeah.
Um,
If you haven't noticed, by the way, we're winding down here.
yeah, this is like the where we just lose our focus completely.
Yeah.
What else is there to say? Kevin Durant is still a net. T.J. Warren is a net.
Yeah. It's weird to say.
T.J. Warren is a player.
Yep.
Last time I
And
seen
if you're
T.J.
not,
Warren,
if you're playing in Disney World, he's the best player.
yes, we know.
That was
Like,
amazing.
we
Amazing
know.
time.
Bro, literally, when you think when we thought he was going to miss a shot, he just kept going.
Yep.
And I was like, how?
You almost couldn't even be upset because it's just like, I'm witnessing an anomaly.
Like, you better be a fucking all-star next year.
Yeah.
The way
It's like
he
we're
was
not.
playing.
It's like nobody game planned for this. Like literally nobody saw this coming. I don't think TJ Warren knew this was gonna happen.
And then on top of that, Ben Simmons was guarding him.
Yep.
And he said,
And it was still.
I'm just going to rise up and shoot, and it's going to go in, and they're going to go 3-ball, and I'm going to walk away.
Yep.
And then proceeded to do that.
It was the most astounding thing I think I ever saw live.
I was
Well,
watching.
that and the Janet Jackson Super Bowl thing. I saw that live too.
I didn't see it live.
Yeah, you were too young.
But I've watched it so many times.
Yeah, I'm sure. I
Backwards,
saw it live, and I was like, "What?" And my dad just covered my face, and he was like, "Don't look." And I was like, "I already saw it. The screen's black now. Like the producers of the show cut it, so it's like it's gone. But I saw it.
I saw something.
I don't know what I saw, but I saw something, and I'd like to see it again.
I like to see it again.
I'd like for you to rewind that, please.
Please.
I'm not sure what happened, but you have my attention.
Yes. Yes. What else is happening in the NBA?
Not a lot. But I do want to give a quick shout out to Brian Windhorst, because this was probably like a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. Whenever the Rudy Gobert trade happened.
Yes.
Brian Windhorst went on I think it was First Take? Yeah.
Stephen
And he threw so many lobs to everybody else sitting at that table, and they just missed all of them. He threw so many lobs for just one person to come out and say, "Oh, the Utah Jazz are going into a rebuild." And nobody had the wherewithal to pick that up. They were all just sitting there listening,
Right.
forgetting the fact that this is a conversation.
And they're just
Like,
quiet. And it was just
yeah, they're just
quiet.
quietly, and he's like asking questions, and they're just like, that was odd. And it's like, I'm trying to get somebody on the same page as me. The Utah Jazz are going into a rebuild. I need you to say it. Like, somebody pick it up.
Come
Somebody pick up the
on.
hints. Yeah. Like, he says, like, the Utah Jazz made a weird trade. Like, and then a couple weeks later, they make another trade that's kind of weird. And then it's like, they're just like, go on. It's like,
you remember at work when I kept saying Michael to Jordan. We have a coworker named Jordan. And I kept
Yes.
saying Michael, and I kept pointing
Yes.
at her, like,
yes.
like motherfucker,
She
your
was like, "I'm
name,
Jordan."
your
Yeah.
name, yes. I was like, yes.
And I was like, Jordan, basketball player. And she was like, oh, Michael. Oh, and I was just like, I wasn't even a part of the conversation.
You
I
was
just
already
heard Michael.
in the back, and you walked to where I was.
I heard Michael once, and heard Michael once and saw you pointing. And I was just like, she's not getting it, is she?
Michael.
That was the same exact situation. Like, Brian Windhorst was just laying it out there, like, somebody say it.
Jordan,
Jazz are rebuilding.
Jordan watches these podcasts now. Well, I think she watches the Little Lights. I don't know if she watches the sports one, but yeah, I'm telling her.
If she couldn't guess the Michael Jordan thing, I don't think she watches this. She listens to a sports podcast.
No. I told her. She asked me which one she should watch, and I was like the Little Lights, because like I don't think you don't watch anime, you don't watch sports. We're just two dickheads talking shit. I think that's enjoyable to everybody.
By the way, I want to be a guest on the Low Lights podcast. It looks fun.
It is very fun. There's a clip. I actually got to send you a clip because for some reason my my computer won't let me post it. It was a clip for last episode, but it's fucking hilarious.
All right.
I remember how I told you I fell out the chair.
Oh God, yeah.
It's literally
that the clip?
That's the clip.
Okay.
And I put
music. For everybody listening, Marquise fell out of his chair. No, he was not rolling it anywhere. He was not moving. He was not reaching to grab something.
No, look. I was joking. Like I fell out my chair, and you
actually did it.
Yes, and then the way my desk is, I sat down too much, and I was like, I can't get back up, so I have to fully commit now to this fall, and then for 5 minutes after that, all you see is Tyrese talking to a chair because I'm on the floor with my mic in front of my face, just laying down answering questions. That is legit. God. That's what people not pay to see. People constantly come back and listen to. I don't understand.
So real quick, because we're winding down. I want to make some announcements.
Sure.
Number one, I just saved 15% of my car. No, I'm just playing. I'm just joking. I wouldn't do that. I don't actually have a car.
I forgot to do the little the thing for RSS, so we could do that right now, and I'll just edit it. Put it up there.
Yeah. So for everybody who's been listening to the podcast on rssfeed.com, you now can't do that. You can go over to the website. You can go to blackflagent.online. That is the website that we are on, and you can listen to all the podcasts there. Also, if you were listening to any of the podcasts on Google or Spotify or Apple Music and you had them saved and they're not there anymore, that is because we are posting them with a different feed. So they're still there, but you have to just search for them again.
Yeah, they're all their own thing. So if you're a fan of the Lowlights, you gotta look up the Lowlights podcast. If you're a fan of the sports one, you probably have to look up Untitled Hoops now. We're changing it, Untitled Hoops.
Yes.
And if you're a fan of, I still don't know how to pronounce it, so you're gonna say it.
It's literally Otaku with bro in front.
Brotaku.
There you go.
The Brotaku.
Otaku means nerd in Japanese.
Okay. The Brotaku Alliance, I think it's the Brotaku. Is the Brotaku Alliance podcast. So, everything's there. It's literally, if you have been watching ours on the Lowlights Network, literally all you have to do is type in the names that are in, the certain one that you like to watch. So, we're there. We're still here. We still exist.
Yes.
We still
exist. Also, We're still going to be posting the videos on YouTube. You can also see that on the website as well. So if you want to just listen to the audio, you can do that on our website. If you want to see the video, you can do that on our website as well. So you don't have to go to two different websites to listen or watch. You can do both on just
All in
our
one.
single website. Yes. And while you're there, you can pick up some exclusive merch from the Lowlights Network. That is going to be getting updated more and more soon because there's some on there now, but we're going to add more and there needs to be more because it's so dope that we don't want to run out.
Yes.
Um and then finally, the last announcement is exclusive content. So when you go to the website, you can sign up for a membership. It's $4.99 a month. That's it. $5 a month. Less than $5 a month, technically speaking.
You get
That's what
episodes
businesses do.
before they come out.
Yes, you can get episodes before they come out, not of the podcast, because that's free and that's for everybody.
Yeah.
But the other exclusive content that we're going to be posting, like the new series that we're going to be doing called This Really Happened, where we all tell crazy ass stories and you guys get to comment on the website, or if you watch it on YouTube, to guess whether this is a true story or not. Those are going to be on the website 1 week early for members. So if you give that $4.99 membership once a month, you get access to that 1 week early. Also, me and Marquise are going to be having a 3-point contest for him to, get his ass bust, and I am going to be, the one to do the honors. That's also going to be on the website one
Also,
week before it goes on to YouTube.
Also, follow us on Twitter. We have a Twitter now. Low
Yes,
Lights NW. Follow us on Instagram. Reach out to us. Talk to us. I
yes,
literally want to know how people found our podcast and what they think about it. I literally like the info. I like people talking to us. I like people just telling us what they like about it. Stuff
mhm.
like that. Shit. Like we might choose one of the people that viewed us to be on the podcast. Literally,
Maybe.
you know what I'm saying? We do a special guest every five episodes on the Low Lights podcast. It
Yep,
might be you. You know what I'm saying? Like you just reach
yep.
out to us. We're friendly. We'll text back. Like we're not famous at all. So we
Yeah.
do all this. This is all
Phone is
us.
very dry.
My phone is dead. So you should know how much we care about
Yep.
this. So
And if you want to just hit us up, if you have any ideas as far as other content that we can produce, I, for one, thought about maybe doing the tortilla challenge between the three of us. Marquise, do you know what that is?
that's the one chip, right? The one chip challenge.
No, 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 no. That's the flaming hot Doritos or something like that. The I forget, but
We
no.
could, we
The
could do it.
tortilla challenge is when you get two or more people and you give each one a tortilla and you have them fill their mouths with water and then you randomly slap each other with the tortillas.
Oh, I
Now,
seen it. I seen the
the
aces do
first
this.
the first person to spit the water out loses. The last person standing wins. Obviously, because the tortillas they don't really hurt, but they do make a lot of noise, and it's
It
hilarious.
sounds painful.
Yeah, it sounds painful, but it doesn't actually hurt. I may or may not have already slapped myself with a tortilla just to check, but either way, that was an idea that came across the board. So if you'd like to see that, obviously go on our Instagram or Twitter or TikTok, follow us, send us messages, tell us stuff, tell us how handsome we are.
Mostly
Yeah,
Marquise.
Marquise needs it more than us.
Ooh.
Um, go ahead and hit us up. So yeah,
So
obviously thank you for
come
listening to
over,
this
guys.
episode
We're
as
still
well.
here. We're still here. So just
Yes,
just
come over.
come over and chill.
Oh, also, by the way, look forward to possibly some more in-person content where we are not on Discord or
Yes.
uh, you know, Zoom or whatever. Most people think this is Zoom.
We're
It's
going
actually Discord. It's not Zoom. Zoom sucks.
and
I'm
I
in college, so I'm whenever like it's not in school time, I'm boycotting Zoom. I
I
don't call me on Zoom.
and I want to end it on this note. We're going to be in person so we can all physically touch each other. So thank
Yes.
you for watching this podcast. Sean, you do the outros. I'm doing it. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on the flippity flip.
On the flippity flip.
The flippity flip.
For those of you who maybe don't realize it, Marquise is not old, but he does say old shit. Yeah, wearing a T-shirt of a show that came out 2 years before he was born.
It came out 5 years after I was born.
The American version.
Who listens to the?
Yeah.
Thank you, people, for watching.
I actually don't know when the UK version came out. I just pulled that out of my ass. I don't know.
Okay,
That might have just been wrong.
I feel like it's wrong. Um, bye.
Bye.